which is to eat them, because although that is why they are here, I haven't plucked up the courage yet. Quail eggs and silky eggs for the hatching program from these guys. Every day I come up, she looks bigger. We don't know exactly when it's going to be, and I plucked April the 20th out of the air. It feels like spring again! The wind is still icy, but the sun is out, and actually it's not too bad. And look, we've got hawthorn coming out, one of the first earlies to come out, and also up here we've got elder, another first tree to come out. But just the sight of the hedgerows starting to green up and blossom, so not only green up but also blossom, it's enough to swell the heart and banish all of those blues that I had earlier this week. Well, we're here in the Rabbitry, and I'm really happy to say that the first bunnies are leaving in the next few days, because we are running out of room. We've got Liara, one of our does in here, who had 8 kits, 10 originally, and we were left with 8. And then over there we have Tally, who originally had 12 kits and still has 11. And they're all still in there because it's been so cold and I haven't got anywhere else to put them, so they have been leaving. So these guys are 9 weeks old now. I'm just about to clear out this front bit, but I have cleared out their little sleeping area, and you can see, hello sweetie, they're fairly big now. All of the kits were chocolate, so we might try and get a different coloured doe or a buck. I guess chocolate is maybe the dominant colour, and because the buck and my 2 does are brown, obviously they hold the dominant gene maybe. I know that in their heritage there is some black, some grey and some slate blue. So possibly upon subsequent breedings we might get a couple of those recessive, the wind keeps blowing this door, we might get a couple of those recessive genes and some different colour babies come out. But for now, we've got these cute little 9-week-olds. I think we have, how many of you? So there's 5 bucks and, no, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 5 bucks and 2 does from this lot. And I think all of these does have homes. You sniffing my fingers? And then this is my other doe, Tally, in here. And she had, as I said, she had 12, but she's got 11. So these guys are 5 weeks. And I just had a look at all of them, and we've got 6 does and 5 bucks. And again, a couple of the bucks are sold already, and a couple of the does are already sold. But there are so many. I still can't believe quite how many babies they had. I was expecting for this first round for them to have 4 or 5 max. So to have 19 babies alive now and originally 22 from 2 does was quite insane. But they're all doing really, really well. I've also been handling them quite a lot. Not only so is it easier for me to turn them over and check whether they're boys or girls, but also when it comes to selling them, you know, even if people are buying them as meat rabbits, which a lot of people are, I still want them to be fairly friendly, so that they can handle them and turn them over and groom them, clip nails and things like that. So as you can see, they are all very, very friendly. And of course I'm trying to sell every single one so that I don't have to do the deed, which is to eat them, because although that is why they are here, I haven't plucked up the courage yet. Well, my incubator is almost empty. I've just got some gosling eggs set to hatch in the next couple of days, which means I'm ready to get the next batch on. So I've been collecting both quail eggs and silky eggs for the hatching program from these guys. So these guys are the ones that I'm breeding the colours into. We've got some of the toasty marshmallow you can see on the front of some of these girls, and then right over the back we have this lovely little brown hen here, and we're also going to try and breed some more like her. Now, of these 3 eggs, all right, this is a good egg, this is a good egg, this is not such a great egg. When they're slightly weirdly misshapen, it often just means that the chick in the developing embryo and the chick doesn't have room to move properly. So in a normal egg, the air sac is on the rounded end and the embryo kind of ends up curling around into this bottom end here. So it sits like that in the incubator and rocks back and forth. When you've got an egg like this, it's a bit more difficult because it's long and thin. So as the development of the embryo begins, it kind of gets squashed into the wrong place. I have had eggs hatch out like this, and I probably will throw this in the incubator, but just if you're collecting eggs and you're out of room and you don't know what to select, always go for the kind of the standard egg shape rather than the slightly misshapen weird ones. And also never try and incubate the really, really tiny ones because they just won't work. Are you being my chicken guard dog? Or are you just waiting for poo? I think you might just be waiting for poo. Yes. Well, we're still waiting on Connie babies, but I don't think it's going to be very long. Hello. This is little Capulet, not the friendliest of all of the rams. But here's Connie, and you can see she's getting bigger. I want to try and show you how big she is from the front. Hello. There she is. Perfect. So you can see she's getting quite round now. And guys, I am always so shocked how quickly they get big. I know in my head that they do the majority of the fetal growing in the last month, but you can literally see day to day. You know how they often say you don't notice things on a day-to-day basis because you're always there and you're always seeing it. With pregnancies, especially sheep and goats, every day I come up, she looks bigger and more different. She is starting to get swollen on the back end now as well, which means we could have babies soon. What? Are you going to be a dad? I know. I know, you're going to be a dad. Don't headbutt me. You can use me as a scratching post, but you can't headbutt me. I haven't got any food. Hi. Don't headbutt me because you'll knock me out. Now, when it comes to her pregnancy day, as you guys know, we don't know exactly when it's going to be, and I plucked April the 20th out of the air. It's a complete guess. I was just kind of working out when I think she might have been covered and then working forwards in terms of her due date. You have all contributed as well to this Connie watch to see when she gives birth. So, you know, the April the 20th, which is my guesstimate, is only 13 days away. With the rate she's growing, it honestly might be sooner than that. I'm loving also that, can you see Monty? Monty has got a beautiful piece of bramble stuck in his tail. It's obviously spring fashion. But yeah, I don't know when she's going to pop, but I'm definitely starting to take a keen eye on her now, especially now that her back end's starting to get puffy, because that is often a case when things are coming in the next few days. The other thing many of you might be wondering is, why have I still got Connie, a pregnant ewe, in with my rams? And the answer is isn't for any particularly good reason other than the rams get out. Lots of people do keep their sheep flocks all together all year round, and you can do that. I don't want to do that because Capulet, he's disappeared. Where did he go? I think he's gone for a drink down in the pond. I think he's gone down there somewhere. But he is related to one of my other ewes, so I don't want to keep them all together. And because these are a pedigree heritage rare breed, I want to keep more of a control over who's breeding with who. However, these boys, especially Monty, he can leap a 5-foot fence. So when I originally tried to separate them, I tried to keep Connie with my girls and the boys over in their paddocks. And Connie was getting out and running to them, and if she wasn't getting out and running to them, the boys were leaping out and running to her. Hello. The plan is, as soon as Connie has had her babies, and then she is more concerned with her lambs than her belligerent husband, hello, I'll move her in with my other ewes, and hopefully she'll stay over there. The other thing is, obviously this netting is not going to keep these boys in at all. But I built these pens over here. That will keep the boys in, but I'm letting the grass regenerate in there because over the winter a lot of it got stomped down. So I don't want to lock them into a pen yet until the grass is kind of growing freely again. So the plan is, Connie will have her babies. She'll be popped into a bonding pen for a couple of days. Connie and babies, or baby, will move out there to the rest of the ewe lambs, and then the 2 rams, so Monty and Capulet, will then go into these pens and be rotated amongst these 3 pens every fortnight or so as the grass grows. While I'm with the sheep, I also just want to address one little thing, and that's that rams can be really dangerous. So you'll often see me in here sat down, kneeling down and just hanging out with Monty and Capulet, but never take them for granted. I know sheep. I've been around sheep a long time, growing up as well as looking after them as an adult, and I can tell when the flicker in the eye changes from a head scratch or a bit of playfulness to I want to try and kill you. But just be really careful with them, because he is very, very powerful. I mean, he's a primitive sheep breed and he's got horns. And any sheep can do you damage, especially a ram if they headbutt you. But if he headbutts with those horns as well, can really, really do a lot of damage. Especially, you saw me kneeling down saying, don't headbutt me, you'll knock me out. Well, if he headbutted me onto my head, he could more than knock me out, he could kill me. So just don't take it for granted that when you're around sheep like that, especially rams, you're safe, because they might be a small animal, but they can really inflict some wounds. So yeah, and you'll probably see later in this year when we get around to tupping and these 2 start fighting, and then they go in with the others, you will not see me in there at that point sitting down, because they will take me out. So just a word of warning to you, and also just to let you know that I am careful. I know what I'm doing, and I know when to get the hell out of there if they start to kick off. But just be careful. So these are the other girls that I was talking about. 2 Jacobs, and then we've got 2 Norfolk Horns. And if you want to see the video where the 2 Jacobs arrived, I'll link that up here, and I'll see you in that video. These 2 girls at the back, they're ewe lambs, so they are last year's lambs, so this year they will be covered. Cotton over there, she is Capulet's sister, so that's why I can't just run them as a flock. I also don't want the Norfolk Horns to cover these 2 girls, so I'm going to be getting a Jacob ram later this year, and then I will be getting another 2 Jacob ewes as well. So come autumn, I'll tup 4 Jacob ewes with my new Jacob ram. I'll tup Connie and Coco with Montague. No, that's wrong. I'll tup Connie and Cotton with Montague, and I'll tup Coco with Capulet. So it's going to be quite the breeding programme, going from my expected 2 ewes to actually next spring we should have 7 inland ewes. So very exciting. After 2 nights of severe frost, I've popped up to the pond quickly to check on the frog spawn, and the top of the frog spawn has sadly been frosted and died. But it's surprising how the water temperature must be heating up, because some of the lower frog spawn lower down is already starting to grow and look like it's going to hatch. The other thing is those spring frosts just can't stop some plants going. The common bistorte that we popped in to the pond I think only a week or so ago, has already really started to leaf up. Just showing that although these frosts do come along and sort of worry us and put our seedlings back, Mother Nature just gets on with it.